Punjab has produced many leaders. Some are remembered for progress, some for power, and some for pain. Darbara Singh is a name remembered through all three, but most of all, for the wounds his era left behind. This is the full story of his rise, his conflicts, his failures, and the tragic shadow he never escaped. In 1980, Darbara Singh became the Chief Minister of Punjab. But he didn't inherit a peaceful state. He inherited a tinderbox of anger, alienation, and simmering political confrontation from the moment he took office. His government faced immediate and fierce resistance from Sikh political leadership. The key flashpoints were interstate water agreements, which many felt were unfair to Punjab, and a growing perception that his administration was fundamentally anti-Punjab and anti-Sikh. As these accusations swirled, public trust began to crumble. His professional credibility weakened with each passing day. The political disagreements weren't just about policy. They quickly became personal. A deep resentment toward his leadership style and his perceived allegiance to the central government in Delhi grew rapidly across the state. The ground was shifting beneath his feet, and the role of chief minister started to feel less like a position of power and more like a seat at the center of a storm. Then, in January 1982, near Fagwara, an event occurred that symbolized Punjab's emotional breaking point. At a public function, a young school teacher named Darbara Singh walked up to the chief minister and slapped him across the face. The impact was reportedly so strong that Darbara Singh's turban, a symbol of honor, fell to the ground. This wasn't a simple assault. Darbara Singh later clarified that his action wasn't meant to cause physical injury. It was an act of protest, a desperate expression of the personal and collective anguish felt by countless Sikhs who felt their voices were being ignored and their dignity trampled upon. The incident itself was quickly suppressed by the authorities and downplayed in the media, but the anger that fueled it could not be contained. This was no isolated act of a lone individual. It was a shocking public display of the deep-seated frustration that was boiling over in Punjab. The slap exposed the profound collapse of Darbara Singh's authority, both personally and professionally. It was a sign that the relationship between the leader and his people was irreparably broken. As the months wore on, political dialogue continued to fail. With rising misunderstanding and unresolved grievances, the situation around the Golden Temple complex in Amritsar became a matter of grave concern, deeply affecting the Sikh psyche and the stability of Punjab. Armed elements began to fortify their positions within the sacred grounds, turning a place of peace into a symbol of defiance. During this turbulent period, one figure emerged as a powerful force shaping Sikh emotion and political discourse: Saint Jarnail Singh Bhindranwale. His influence grew exponentially as he articulated the fears and grievances of a community that felt besieged. Punjab was no longer just a state in turmoil. It was on the very edge of a catastrophe. The stage was set for a tragedy that would scar the nation's soul. In June of 1984, the breaking point was reached. Operation Blue Star unfolded inside the Golden Temple complex, a moment of deep sorrow and irreversible pain for Sikhs across the world. The aftermath of Operation Blue Star left deep scars across Punjab and the Sikh world. Large numbers of Sikhs were reported killed or detained during the operation and the period that followed, and many families later spoke of severe mistreatment and suffering in custody. Among those who lost their lives during the operation was Saint Jarnail Singh Bhindranwale, whose death was announced by the authorities after the action inside the Golden Temple complex. For Sikhs everywhere, this moment became a symbol of irreversible loss, trauma, and a wound that continues to shape memory and identity. The consequences were devastating. The holiest shrine of Sikhism was scarred by bullets and battle. Sacred structures, including the Akal Takht, were heavily damaged. For Sikhs around the world, this was an unimaginable desecration. The spiritual and psychological wound was deep, and for many, it has never healed. In the immediate aftermath of the operation, Darbara Singh's government, which had been seen as either complicit or powerless to stop the military action, collapsed. He was dismissed from his post, and President's rule was imposed on Punjab. For a vast section of the Sikh community, this moment sealed his image forever. He was no longer seen as a leader who had tried and failed. but as a man who had presided over the destruction of Punjab's dignity and the desecration of its most sacred site. His political career was over, but his role in history was just beginning to be written in the darkest of terms. The trauma of 1984 didn't end with the operation. It triggered a devastating chain of aftershocks that plunged the region into further tragedy. The assassination of Prime Minister Indira Gandhi by her Sikh bodyguards in October of that year was a direct act of revenge for Blue Star. This, in turn, unleashed horrific anti-Sikh riots across India, where thousands were massacred in organized pogroms. For the next decade, Punjab was consumed by a brutal cycle of militancy and state-sponsored violence. Bloodshed became a part of daily life. And through it all, Darbara Singh's name became permanently tied to that storm. He was seen as one of the architects of the chaos, a man whose political misjudgments had opened the floodgates of suffering. Looking back, his government's legacy is defined by catastrophic professional failure. It faced constant allegations of heavy-handed policing and the brutal suppression of dissent. Critics accused him of political misjudgment at every turn, arguing that he consistently chose confrontation over dialogue. His administration was seen as weakening Punjab's autonomy, ceding power to the central government at the expense of his own people. Human rights groups raised serious concerns about extrajudicial killings and disappearances. The fundamental bond of trust between the Sikh community and the state was not just broken, it was shattered into a million pieces. After losing power, Darbara Singh never recovered his political stature. The man who once held the highest office in Punjab slipped into a quiet, profound isolation. His remaining years were lived under the inescapable, suffocating shadow of 1984. Every public appearance, every memory, every mention of his name inevitably returned to that one fateful moment. History refused to grant him an escape. He was a political ghost, haunted by the events he had presided over. History did not give Darbara Singh a gentle farewell. From the heights of power, he fell into a deep silence. He lived the rest of his life carrying the immense weight of 1984 moment that followed him into every room, every memory, and every final judgment. He lost the trust of his people, the confidence of his state, and any chance to ever rewrite his own story. Some historians argue that he was simply overwhelmed by forces far beyond his control, a man caught in a perfect storm of political intrigue and rising extremism. Others believe he failed a critical test of leadership at the very moment Punjab needed him the most. But one thing no one can deny is this: Darbara Singh paid a lifetime price for a chapter of history that still refuses to heal. In the end, he was not remembered for what he built, but for what Punjab lost under his watch, and perhaps, that is the greatest tragedy of all. This documentary is created for educational purposes. All information is based on publicly available historical records, interviews, and media reports. Thanks for watching Mount Entertainment. Subscribe for more untold stories of political history.